Greetings, fellow members of the Esoteric Order of Gamers. It's joy of unboxing time, and what do we have here? Yes, it's Warhammer 40,000 Indomitus, 9th edition of the venerable Warhammer 40,000 game. Here it is, the big box. I did get myself a copy in the end, and I'm going to unbox it here. It's just me, nobody else. Nobody else will be helping with this. Oh, hello, who are you?
I'm here to watch the unboxing.
Oh, and yes, can you please make welcome my wonderful partner, Carol. Hello, Carol.
Hello, and what we've realised is that while you film a lot of unboxings, I've never had the joy of watching you unbox.
No, this is the joy of unboxing, the joy of watching the joy of unboxing.
Exactly, and it feels wrong that other people have watched you enjoy the joy of unboxing and I've not.
Well,
I'm feeling a little bit jealous.
We're going to rectify that here right now as we unbox this huge and very expensive box chock full of Necrons and Space Marines and a big hardcover rulebook for the 9th edition of the thing. Now, if I could just ask you to move out of the light, that would be excellent, because you're just, if you could stand over there. Ah, beautiful. That's perfect. Thank you. So
this is more complicated than I thought.
It is. This isn't easy. These things take time. People think I just toss them off. Well, no.
Can I just make a note of the fact that you've had this for a while?
Yeah, how long? About like 2 weeks. 2
Ages.
weeks, I think. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Because generally there's this frenzy of unboxing.
There is. And why have I waited so long to unbox this one, do you think?
I really don't know. It's an enigma, because we have this thing when I get parcels in the post, I save them.
Yeah, well,
So
this
I
is
can
one thing
enjoy
about
it.
our relationship. You see, we're very different in one way, and that is when we get stuff in the post.
Ways, actually.
Well, no, that's very, very, very few ways. But in one way is when we get parcels in the post, I instantly open them and look at them, whereas Carol tends to put them aside and wait for the perfect time to open and enjoy them. So I'm the kid who rips open his Christmas presents straight away. Carol puts them away and waits. And that's what I did with this one. And I don't know why. I think because it's such a huge project. There are 75 odd figures here, and it's a lot of work. And I was kind of putting that aside and waiting until I really felt like getting into it. This weekend is the day. Let's have a look inside.
There's obviously a technique at play here.
There is. I've done it many, many times. As you can see, we're standing in my studio surrounded by games with my long-suffering partner. So you get some very dark gothic art there. That's just to protect the miniatures at the top. There we go. It's just a sheet of paper. And here's all the plastic.
Can I ask you, what is your immediate emotional reaction to seeing that mosaic of plastic in
That's a
front
very
of
good
you?
question. My, you know what, honestly,
Yes.
my initial reaction is, oh my God, look at all those hours of work.
And is that, can we name the emotion?
That's slightly disturbing, isn't it?
Overwhelm?
Trepidation. It's funny. I mean, I enjoy it. I making miniatures and painting them, I find a very relaxing thing to do. I enjoy doing it. I take up most of the space in the kitchen doing it all the time, don't I? But also, a project like this is really big, and it takes a lot of time to paint all of these miniatures, and it dominates your life for, at least a month. So
I'm hearing something about joy fused with terror and overwhelm.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely joy in there. But there's just, I don't know, there's just so many bits and there's just a lot of work. It's going to be fantastic when it's finished, and I'm really going to enjoy playing some games of Warhammer 40,000. It's not my favourite game by a long stretch, but, it's an absolute classic, and it's a fun dice-chucky tabletop miniatures game, and it looks spectacular. The miniatures are absolutely beautiful. You can't beat Games Workshop for quality of miniatures at all. But as you can see, a lot of plastic in there, and it's going to take a lot of time. So,
how long would you estimate to prep, paint?
A month at the very least.
To do all of this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's working pretty solidly, I'd say. Yeah. Age of Sigmar took me about that long. That was the fantasy version. Took quite a bit of work. But also, one good thing about this set is that it's half Necrons, and the Necrons are sort of space Terminator robots, and they're pretty easy to paint.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
just the side of the box shows some
Oh yeah.
in colour.
Yeah.
And this side that I'm looking at, even more so than the side that you're looking at.
There's all the Necrons that you get. And when I say Terminator type robots, of course, I'm referring to the James Cameron film, not the Space Marine Terminators. So look at those beautiful figures, different ways of painting them there. On this side you can see the Space Marines.
And will you paint this same colour scheme or come up with your own? You'd think I would know this by now.
You'd think so, but it's interesting you should ask this because it's really difficult to decide because Space Marines come in different chapters. I don't think you knew this, but she's laughing.
No, I didn't know.
No.
Do Space Marines come in different chapters?
Yes, they do, darling.
Me more.
Let me tell you all about
this.
it. Yeah, it's fascinating. They come in different chapters with different colour schemes, you see. So there's chapters like the Ultramarines and the...
Are they blue, perchance?
Yes!
Blue!
Ultramarine!
Wow, I guess.
Nice pick. Well done. Yes, they've got the Dark Angels.
Are they
Pick
black?
No, they're actually dark green, but, you know, good try. Mm-hmm. You've got the Blood Angels. See if you can pick it.
Crimson.
Yes, very good. Red, crimson. You've got the Iron Hands. They're sort of iron coloured. So, yeah, the clue is in the name. But it's very difficult to decide. And you can also invent your own chapters and your own colour schemes. And when I was a kid, I invented my own. It was called the Purple Haze chapter. And it was my idea was that they took lots of combat drugs and played loud music and stuff like that. So it was based on Jimi Hendrix. Not that I was a huge Jimi Hendrix fan, but I just thought that was really clever. It had a flying hypodermic as a symbol, and I thought that was really clever. But actually, I don't really like purple much, so I've stopped painting them purple. So deciding what colour to paint them is quite tricky. So we've got a piece of paper here, which is an ad for a novel. The Edge of Silence. Of course, we've got all the instructions for building the miniatures, and you can see that's quite a few pages. Put them all together. These aren't multiple pose miniatures, but still, that doesn't bother me.
Are you going to do a foam core insert for this?
Yes, I am. And in fact, before I opened this, I've been going through my old Warhammer 40,000 sets and building foam core sets for them just to sort of, put them to bed. So it was before I started the new edition. That's strange, isn't it? Isn't that sweet? This could possibly be a little campaign or something, or some background material. No, it's background material about all the weird stuff that's going on in the Warhammer 40,000 universe at the moment. This is the Necrons. These are the Space Marines. You can see you get a lot in the packet and in the set. And these are all the stats. There you go.
And because there are so many plastic pieces here, I can imagine for someone who doesn't do a lot of this, it could be tempting to get started and then get a sense of overwhelm and kind of get stuck and go no further. Is there anything that you do other than using sheer determination to make sure that you finish a job like this?
That's a good question. Yeah, there are a number of things I do. I usually do the boring figures first. Yeah. Because there's, boring rank and file figures, which are a bit repetitive, though they're all different poses and things, but they're the same. And then it goes up to the heroes and the interesting, more interesting figures. So I do the boring ones first and get them out of the way, because there's nothing worse than spending so much time on the heroes and then having to just sort of do boring stuff after that. So that's one way I tackle it. I also do it in things in batches. So I'll do all the construction first, and then I'll do all the basing, and then I'll do all the priming, and so you do it in
a production line.
It's a bit of a production line, yeah. I mean, because the bottom line is, and I always say this in all my videos, is that I want to get these on the table and playing with them as soon as possible. I still want them to look good, but I don't want to spend ages and ages doing beautiful, beautiful paint sets.
And do have to say that I've seen you be quite driven to complete painting when you know, for example, I don't know, Will is coming to visit and you want the complete set painted.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to have like a self-imposed deadline. If there's
and
a
listen to podcasts.
And I listen to podcasts.
I know people probably know this, but when you do a lot of painting and there's generally a podcast playing.
Yeah, I find that, it's one of the few activities that you can give your full attention to a podcast and yet still make this. If for some reason they use different parts of your brain, you don't need to engage your brain building miniatures and painting them. You can engage it with a podcast or something at the same time. So this thing is pretty impressive. This is a huge hardcover book. This is the new core rule book for Warhammer 40,000. And, it's the classic good versus evil fight on the front there. And, it's interesting looking at the old Warhammer 40,000 rule books and seeing how the graphic design has just improved over the years so much. But very impressive book. But still, the layout is pretty simple. It's not too busy. There's some books in the past have gone through really busy phases, full of colour pictures of miniatures, heaps of background material. And now, of course, the rules don't take up a huge amount of space. They've really made the rules fit into just a small set of rules which you can download and start playing the game. But yeah, there's the huge hardcover book. There's a sheet of transfers you can use on your miniatures if you want to.
Do you use transfers?
I don't tend to, no, but then again, I haven't painted Space Marines for a long time, so I might have to. If I choose the Blood Angels, which I'm thinking of, they're the dark green guys, it'd be nice to put these on rather than have to do them by freehand, because they're quite detailed, as you can see, these little insignia. So sometimes these wet transfers can work quite well. And we're down the bottom of the box. There's a bit of a cardboard filler, and then there's a whole lot of bases for your miniatures. There they are. So that's what you get in a box. So in New Zealand, about $300.
I can't whistle properly. That was an honest attempt.
That was a whistle. Yeah. Not cheap, is it? Still, if you bought all these miniatures individually, they would cost far, far more than that. The simple fact is, Games Workshop make the best miniatures in the business, but they are the most expensive miniatures in the business. So you pay for that quality. But in a set like this, even though it is very expensive, you do get quite a lot of bang for your buck. And you've really got two small armies you can get straight into the game.
And the book does look beautiful. I mean, this is not my hobby, this is yours. But it does look like quite a beautiful object.
Well, that's like a $120 book there, right there, isn't it? I mean, you'd pay that anywhere. You'd pay for a book that size.
The production values of
that's
that
beautiful.
Book.
And I love how they put the hardcover book. They didn't used to do this. They'd give you a little pamphlet or something.
Oh, okay.
And you buy the book separately. But now they put the whole hardcover book in the set. Now, this isn't actually a starter set because it doesn't come with range rulers and dice and basic and templates and basic stuff like that. There are 3 other starter sets coming for different ranges of expense, which is a good idea. They've never done that before. They've brought out 3 different starter sets, and they have smaller to larger armies depending on how much you want to pay. And the most expensive set comes with some scenery as well. So this set here is for people who already have scenery and already have that basic stuff and just want the book and the miniatures. But you can buy starter sets as well.
And now that it's unboxed, what is the next step for you? Where do you generally go from here? Is it foam core insert first, or will you start on basing, or what's the next thing?
The next step is to sit down and start clipping out the pieces from these sprues and start building the miniatures.
Will you clip out all of them?
No, I'll clip them out as I build each miniature. So if I clip them all out, I just have this huge mess of pieces and I get very, very confused.
I can see how that could be kind of tempting just to get that done.
It would be, but you'd just end up with a huge pile and you'd be sorting through all the bits. So what you do is you follow the book, this one here. So you just follow the step by step. It's very, very clear, and you make it miniature by miniature. So there's no point making me a sort of foam core insert to store things until I know how much space it's going to take up and all that kind of thing. And also, some people, of course, are adding to their armies, so they don't store stuff in the box. I've just got into the habit of storing the contents of each Warhammer 40,000 set in the actual box that it comes in, because it's a good way to store it on the shelf, and put extra miniatures that I buy in my usual storage system. What
3 impressions would you like to share of the game?
Can I just say my my partner Carol works in executive coaching, so you can tell.
I like asking questions.
She's really good at asking questions, isn't she? And also, I just suddenly feel like I'm being coached.
I'm asking you questions. So your top three.
Why do you devote so much time and money to this hobby, Peter?
What is lacking in your life that you feel the need to spend so much time with small plastic pieces?
Well, not good companionship, I can tell you now.
This is different video. We're going into different games therapy.
What was the question again?
Your first three impressions.
Oh, first three impressions.
That you might like to share.
I will say quality. I think this is... the quality is fantastic. The book is beautiful. Games Workshop, the quality just gets better and better. I also think... Yes, this is very expensive, but this is pretty good value in comparison to other Games Workshop stuff. So even though this cost a lot of money, and usually the other sets were more like in the 250 range, there's a lot of miniatures here, and I do feel like I've got a lot of miniatures for the buck. And, I'll have some nice starting armies of Marines and Necrons, and I already have some figures in both of those guys, so I can build up those forces. So, I'm not disappointed. Sometimes I'm a bit disappointed by what you get for the money for Games Workshop, but in this one I just think it's, with a book like that that's worth about $120, all those miniatures, it's pretty good value.
And the third thing, so I'm hearing quality, reasonable value for money, and what's the third one?
The third one is a little bit of excitement at just starting in at the ground level of Warhammer 40,000 again. I haven't played it for a long, long time. I know it's a very dice-heavy, dice-chucker kind of game. So is Age of Sigmar, which I played and enjoyed, but, I won't play all the time, just occasionally. This one, Warhammer 40,000, the gothic sci-fi theme is just so well developed, and the miniatures are so nice that it'll just visually look fantastic when I finally get around to playing it.
And final question from me.
Yes?
Who is this going to appeal to?
Who is this going to appeal to? Well, if you haven't played Warhammer 40,000 for a long time, like me, but have still collected it over the years, this is a good way to get back into it again. I think this is, everyone's saying the rules are fine. They've just been tweaked. They haven't done a huge amount to them, but the rules are good. This gives you a decent amount of miniatures. I don't know, it just feels like a good time to get back into it if you haven't played it for a long, long time, like me. You don't necessarily have to go on to spend a fortune and build up big armies, but you might just want to have the occasional game. It's up to you. I think that's good. It's also good for people who, of course, play Warhammer 40,000 all the time and want to add to existing Space Marine and Necron armies, because you get a lot of figures in here, and you get the hardback. And I love the fact that you get the hardback with the box and you don't have to buy it separately.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us on this joy of unboxing. It's been really fun.
Thank you for letting me witness the joy of the joy of unboxing.
The joy of unboxing. Yes, maybe we can convince you to do this again occasionally.
Maybe.
Oh, I can hear the enthusiasm.
I like asking questions.
She does like asking questions. She's very good at it. Please say thank you to Carol for joining us on this joy of unboxing, and it has been, of course, Indomitus, the brand new Warhammer 40,000 9th edition box set. Very impressive stuff from Games Workshop. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.
And my pleasure to help, and please stay safe wherever you are in the world right now.
Indeed, please stay safe. In fact, it's a good time to stay inside and make up Games Workshop miniatures and play games, well, with your family. Thanks for watching, everybody. That's the Esoteric Order of Gamers, orderofgamers.com. Don't forget to go to the website. There's heaps and heaps of rule summaries and references for hundreds of games. There's also hundreds of other great videos on this channel. So subscribe and hit the all notifications button. See you next time.